Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today is a process video with the Crafty Chicks Take On. If you're new to my channel and wondering what that is, I've asked several of my friends to join me where we focus on one product a month, and this month we are focusing on brads. So I kind of gave you in this picture alternatives if you don't have brads in your stash, where you could use either flares, sequins, enamel dots, buttons. In my case, I'm using eyelets. Yes, you heard that right. Eyelets. Who has those still in their stash? Apparently I'm the only crazy one, because when I asked everyone else, they're like, no, Desiree, we got rid of that a long time ago. So I already had an idea of what I wanted to do, and that is use this cut file that has been sitting on my workspace forever. I don't remember who makes it. It could be from the cut shop, the silhouette store, Make Paper Art. There's quite a few of stores that I like to go to, and so it's from one of them, and I am going to back that up using the Doodlebug Boys Only collection. And so I'm going to use those eyelets and have them go onto the stars. So right now I'm showing you that what I have to work with, and it's not much. It's just a few of the papers and a sticker sheet. That is all that I have from the collection. I tried shopping my stash, and unfortunately those colors are pretty distinct, kind of bright neon colors to me. So I didn't have really anything in my stash, which made it kind of a challenge. So not only am I challenging myself to use eyelets, I'm apparently challenging myself with minimal supplies. So I had to get really creative. Now this paper that you see right there, that is back from my beginning days. It's been in my stash forever, but it was with this collection, so I must have used it before. It goes really well with the blues. And anytime I'm using old paper like that, that's very thin, one-sided, I tend to use it to go behind the photo. And if I do decide to make it into a background paper, then I always adhere cardstock underneath and just use a full cardstock color that I don't care about, and that way it's a lot more thicker and sturdier. So now I'm just trying out different stickers, and again, it's because I don't have a lot of embellishments. I'm trying to figure out how can I create layers with what I have. So I'm just trying out different ones, and then I'm going to move on to something else. And that is when I decide to, oh no, it's the eyelets. So there's the eyelets. Tell me those things are not cool looking. So my idea was that I was going to have them on a couple of the stars points. Now there's only two stars that are a little bit bigger, and that is the one with the grid-like pattern. So I knew that the eyelets would go really well with them, and there you see, you know, it already done. And tell me those don't look like I dipped them in Shimmer's paint. It has got that metallic blue. Now I realize as I'm doing this, I'm like, ooh, I don't like it. It does not look balanced. I need a third one. I really want to use that green star at the bottom, but I'm pointing to where there's going to be two eyelets side by side. In order for me to cover that up, I had this sticker here, and that's when I tried it out to see, not that one in particular, but if I was to use a phrase sticker or a word sticker. I'm going to place, instead of an eyelet, it's just going to be that to make you think that there's still one underneath that sticker. Now again, I'm moving on to layering, and this is just something that I like to go to. I like to keep a couple of, I want to say generic, but just, it is generic type of border punches, and one of them is this notebook punch. That's something that I can use over and over again. It's a very simple design, and it never gets old, even if I was to use it on every single layout. So I'm just going to take this strip, and I'm going to layer that underneath the photo, and again, just trying to come up with some ideas to add more embellishments to get some layering going on. Thought about placing it at the top, but decided against it. And now I'm just again trying the different stickers. Now, one thing I wanted to talk to you about anytime that I use stickers or embellishments, actually I'll talk about that in just one moment. This is where you're going to see me almost lose my mind, go a little crazy, because I just got these fine line bottles. It's the yellow one that's a bigger gauge, which means a bigger hole, and I'm used to my blue ones that I've used now for years. I put some on, and I am going to place this cut file down, and as I'm squishing it down, it's all seeping out from underneath the stars. Panic mode, and it's on camera. I am freaking out, guys. I was like, no, I cannot have the paper getting ruined. I'm trying to dab it all up. In the meantime, when I'm trying to sop it all up with the paper towel, some of the cut file that was backed underneath the star got pulled out and ripped, and it's the top one. If I was to point it out, In fact, I actually do think I pointed out to you guys and show you up close. I had to just let it go. So even though it's not fully covered, some of it, I mean, it's so small, it's so slightly, yeah, you barely even see it. But had I just, I had to keep going. So anyways, I love the look that now I have 3 stars, much, much better. My family was like, what are you hammering? And I was like, eyelets. And they're like, what? But anyways, now that I'm focusing back onto these stickers, I'll talk to you a little bit more about the choices that I make for my layout. And I've mentioned this once before, might not go with the actual photos. So you see me grabbing this one where it's a skeleton and he's got headphones on. And then if you could look closely at the gray background paper, it reads like a solid, but it has music notes on it. And the reason why I pick some things that I do, even though it has nothing to do with the photos, is because it represents my son. And my son absolutely loves music. He loves anything from rap, country, rock and roll to classical. I mean, he loves the sound of a violin. And so yeah, he has a love for music. So that to me represents him. So that's what I try to do with my kids' layouts. It doesn't happen all the time, but I try to do it whenever I have the product to go for it. Now again, I'm just kind of going back, trying to add more things to the layout to create a little bit of a cluster, a little bit of layering. I know it's not going to be a whole lot, but it's going to be enough to where I like it and it's balanced. And I'm also adding some distressed ink to the edges of that paper, just so that way it defines the actual edging of the die cuts or punches that I used. Next, I'm going to grab some Heidi Swap Shine, and oh boy, this is like my next freaking out moment. I decided I want to use big splatters this time, and so I'm just going crazy, and next thing I'm like, oh no, this looks like a case of chicken pox. So I'm like, what can I do? Well, I already knew where I wanted to place the title, and that is snuggled up or nestled up to those stars. So I'm just kind of lightly putting them down because I wanted to use, I couldn't decide which glitter thickers I wanted to use. And the title that I thought was going to be Got the Rad Moves. Instead I do hashtag Skater Life, and I ended up using the turquoise. I thought it went better without the ink splatters. And speaking of the title, I almost did a subtitle for it, which was going to be the Got the Rad Moves. Instead, I decided to create the word phrases. And that's because at this point now as I'm putting the word phrases down, I was thinking, what if I just kind of create my own word phrase? And sometimes I miss that about scrapbooking, where you kind of made your own embellishments, right? So I just took my computer and put that in. And how I came up of the Super Rad Moves. Does any of your kids ever watch the Backyardigans? My kids did. I don't even know if it's still out. But they were these little animals that sang, and my son absolutely loved it. Again, for the love of music, he absolutely loved music. And there was a song that's like got the super rad moves. And I'm not kidding you, as I was making this layout, I had like a little bit of nostalgia going down memory lane, and I was singing that song for a couple days as I was kind of going back and forth with this layout, where I would come to it and just like kind of mess with it a little bit. And my family was like, what are you singing, Mom? And so I told my son about it, about how he used to watch this cartoon. I found it on YouTube, and he was watching it, and next thing you know, I'm still singing it, a couple days later. So anyways, but yeah, when I did hashtag Skater Life, I was just like, oh, I really wanted to use that Got the Rad Moves. And so I'm really glad that I kind of created my own little phrase word stickers with the computer. Yes, it looks handmade. It definitely doesn't look like a sticker, but I kind of like that. I miss when a lot of things were handmade when it came to scrapbooking. And now, I mean, for the sake of time, I love the fact too that we can just take it out of a package and put it on there. But I also like to try to be a little bit creative sometimes when I have that chance or I have that idea that pops in my head. So here I am again, just trying to cover up the area where there was going to be 2 eyelets side by side, and the one where on the bottom of that green one, the eyelet actually ripped. There was supposed to be one, so it didn't, you know, I knew I was kind of chancing it because the lines were a little bit thinner. So I'm just going to add the one down there and then place it, you know, 3 across. And then one says sweet boy, kind and fun, which describes my son. And those stickers I got from the Echo Park sticker sheet because they actually worked pretty well for as small as those embellishments were. And then I'm pretty much going to call this layout done once I'm done gluing it down. I'm not going to be journaling on this layout, but it is going to go diagonal from the title, so it's going to be on the bottom left-hand side. And that is only because I don't want to rush when it comes to journaling. I like to take my time. Sometimes it takes me a few days or a week to even get it on there, and that is because I'm trying to just go back on describing, you know, what was going on that day, what his thoughts were, you know, about his skateboard that he got for Christmas. And I just don't want to be rushed because I like to take my time on that. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you don't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. And if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you here. And so don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more inspiration. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. You have a wonderful day. Bye.